These are dark times, there is no denying. Our world has perhaps faced no greater threat than it does today. But I say this to our citizenry. We, ever your servants, will continue to defend your liberty and repel the forces that seek to take it from you.
You're listening to The Stephen Torriello Show, building a platform of liberty for people in search of truth with a dash of hope and a life worth living. The Stephen Torriello Show. And now, here's Stephen.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show, as always. Thank you for tuning in. So, the impeachment starts tomorrow. It's going to be all over the news. There was a huge story that dropped today about Chinese money going to Joe Biden's address, checks. So we're going to be getting into that. We got a lot of stuff we're going to get into. But first, I want to start the show off with this audio clip because I think this impeachment that we're going to be going through the next coming weeks is all going to be relative to these types of lies that Joe Biden told the American people during the 2020 debate. Here, check this out.
Joe, and they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Here comes the lie.
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of a Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
What was that? What was that, Joe? Did you say my son did not make money from China? Really? Really? Well, then someone's going to have to explain to me a lot of things. So Joe Biden's address listed in Chinese wire transfers to Hunter. So a House Oversight Committee bank subpoena has revealed 2 wire transfers from China to Hunter Biden in 2019, listing President Joe Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home as the beneficiary address. House Oversight Chairman James Comer said there were wire transfers for $10,000 and $250,000 are the first examples found of Hunter Biden receiving money directly and not through a shell company. This is the type of stuff they're finding now that they have access to these people's bank accounts. I'm telling you, folks, Joe Biden, this man is as corrupt as they come. He was getting corrupt money from Ukraine, corrupt money from China, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. They've been talking about this man's corruption for years. Years. Not 1 or 2 or 3 years, but like 10 years, ever since he was in the Obama administration. And in fact, there are some outlets talking about it when he was a senator. Everything this man has done has been nothing but corruption because the guy is an idiot. He is an idiot. This is how these morons stay in politics for 50 years, is doing the things that Joe Biden got caught doing and the same stuff that the Senator Menendez got caught doing. And I'm going to play you some audio from Matt Gaetz that went straight savage on Menendez here in a little bit. And so I want to get back to this article. So, quote, bank records don't lie, but President Joe Biden does. In 2020, Joe Biden told the Americans that his family never received money from China. That's the audio I just played you. We've already proved that to be a lie earlier this year. And now we know that 2 wires originating from Beijing listed Joe Biden's Wilmington home as the beneficiary address when he was running for president of the United States, when the man was running. as this man was running for president, there was money being sent to his address in Delaware. What the hell is this all about? And a shame on all these media outlets, a shame on this corrupt government that just got this guy across the finish line. This is exactly why you don't put your thumb on the scale when it comes to presidential elections. The American people had an eye on this guy for a long, long time. The American people were weary of Joe Biden being a corrupt president and a corrupt politician. And they were right. The guy is corrupt. But because these people put their damn thumb on the scale in our presidential elections, now we're stuck with them, and now we have to watch our country return to dust because they're absolutely destroying this place. And then the lies don't stop. The lies don't stop there. Oh, no. So here is the White House spokesperson explaining why Hunter Biden's checks from China were sent to his father's house. So here's an article from Epoch Times. White House spokesperson explains why Hunter Biden's checks from China were sent to his father's house. So White House spokesperson for, this is hat tip to Catherine Yang. White House spokesperson for Oversight and Investigations, Ian Sams, explained why Hunter Biden was using his father's Wilmington, Delaware home address, where payments from Chinese investment fund CEO Jonathan Lee were wired. Quote, imagine them arguing that if someone stayed at their parents' house during the pandemic, listed it as their permanent address for work and got a paycheck, the parent somehow also worked for the employer, he wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Mr. Sams is a special assistant to the president and senior advisor to the White House counsel staff. Quote, it's bananas, yet this is what extreme House Republicans have sunk into. I am so sick of these people's hypocrisy. I am so sick of the lies, the flagrant, brazen lies to the American people's face, where this guy will sit here and just right to your face lie to you. Lie to you. And then the hypocrisy on top of that, talking about how extreme the House Republicans are. Do these people not recall, like, everything they did during the entire Trump administration and still doing? Do they not recall the last 8 years that they've been on this jihad against Donald Trump? They have the balls to sit there and try and lecture Republicans about political lawfare. These people are so corrupt. They are so broken, man. Psychologically and emotionally broken. Anybody that believes any of this is, I'm sorry, is a moron. I'm sorry. It is clear and obvious Joe Biden is corrupt. There is a mountain of freaking evidence. There's impeachment hearings starting tomorrow, and these people are still in denialism. And they will go out of their way to believe this guy, Ian Sams, talking about a pandemic. Like, that's their excuse. That's their alibi. God, man. But it gets worse. So in a separate post, he claims that the president received money from China was a flat-out lie. So they lie. They know that they're lying. They know that we know that they're lying, but they do it anyways. That's as bad as it gets, folks. So the claim came as a response to a statement made by House Committee and Oversight Accountability Chairman Rep. James Comer. The committee has been investigating the financial dealings of the Biden family. On Tuesday, the committee chairman revealed that the payments were sent to Joe Biden's home when he was running for president. He had subpoenaed and obtained 2 bank wires in July and August of 2019 sent from Mr. Lee to Mr. Biden. Upwards of $250,000 were paid to Mr. Biden by Mr. Lee. Mr. Comer issued a statement accusing President Biden of lying to the American public when he said that his family never received money from China. That's a lie. I mean, we know that's a lie. When the guy comes out and says his family, his son has never made money from China, that is a lie. That is a straight up lie. Every single debate was filled with a litany of lies from Joe Biden. And it's just a shame that the American people now have to pay the price for this guy's pathological lying. That the American people have to suffer because Joe Biden is a habitual liar. And the media, the corrupt people at the top echelons of Washington, D.C., all joined forces to get him across the finish line, just barely. 42,000 votes across 3 or 4 different states. They barely got Joe Biden across the finish line, and now the entire country has to suffer because these people were psychologically and emotionally broken by Trump. Now, the media, they're getting revenge on Donald Trump because Donald Trump called them out for what they really are. Donald Trump called them out for fake news. The media's been fake for years. In 20 years, they're not even going to be around anymore because the American people have the ability to get their information elsewhere. For decades, these people have controlled and manipulated the information. For decades. And now they're pissed off that the American people are starting to see and realize that they're just liars. That they flagrantly lied to the American people. Like weapons of mass destruction and the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The vaccine mandates, the mask mandates, the vaccine, the COVID, everything. Everything they tell you is a freaking lie, man. And so getting Joe Biden across the finish line is no different. And so here's what Comer said on Twitter, X. Bank records don't lie, but President Joe Biden does. So get this. This is what's incredible. This is what pisses me off the most. Mr. Sam's statement suggests that checks were sent to Mr. Biden, who was residing at the Delaware address. However, court documents filed by Mr. Biden's legal team for a now defunct plea bargain show Hunter Biden was living in California in 2019. So this whole lie that the checks were being sent to Joe Biden's home because Hunter Biden was living there, well, then you're going to have to explain why his plea deal says he was living in California in 2019. These people are so corrupt. So corrupt. I just wish. It's not right that these people are running this giant cover-up scheme for the Biden family. It is not right. It is completely destroying our justice system. It is destroying the trust and credibility in our justice system, and it's creating this two-tier justice system. And the very notion of the American people thinking there's a two-tier justice system, it just completely delegitimizes our justice system. You don't have to actually have a two-tier justice system in order for the people to not believe in the justice system, or in order for the people to believe that the justice system is broken. What these people are doing, what Merrick Garland, what the DOJ, what the FBI, what this corrupt cabal of people that are protecting Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, what they're doing is delegitimizing our justice system, period. And they're doing the same thing to our democracy and our elections. They did the same thing during COVID and our government health institutions. They've destroyed everything, all in the name of getting Donald Trump. What? There's nothing this man did the last 4 years that would deserve this type of treatment. I'm sorry. But Donald Trump is not worth the complete destruction of our country and all of our laws and everything else. Our rule of law, our government institutions, our government health institutions. Why would they do all of this destruction just to get Joe Biden across the finish line? No, folks, it's because they know Donald Trump getting in that office, he knows exactly where the bodies are buried, and he's going to bring this whole corrupt temple down on these people's heads. That's why. These people are desperate, and they're growing more desperate the more Donald Trump's poll numbers go up. This is why you see all the radical stuff you're seeing. This is why these people have crossed the Rubicon like 50 times now. They have broken so many constitutional norms in this country, it is unbelievable. With partisan impeachments and J6 committees, unconstitutional January 6 committees, the weaponization of the legal system, lawfare, the lies, using the media to push false propaganda, talking about how Donald Trump called people losers and suckers. You guys remember all the lies that the media told the American people the last 8 years? It is truly incredible how anybody listens to these people anymore. Well, they don't. That's why the ratings are going down. I just wish people would stop talking about Joe and Mika, CNN, and MSNBC. Just stop listening to them. Because everything that comes out of these people's mouths is a damn lie. They have no credibility anymore with anybody. And so every single time people talk about Joe and Mika, people talk about MSNBC and CNN and actually give them credibility, they're legitimizing what they're doing. And what they're doing is destroying this country. And they can't even realize it. They're so brain dead that they're accusing the other side of destroying the country while they are actively and knowingly destroying the country. Well, maybe not knowingly, but they're certainly doing it on purpose. They're certainly actively doing it, that's for sure. And so, and this is just one little piece, one little aspect of the Biden impeachment and why Joe Biden deserves to be impeached. Because I'm telling you right now, if Joe Biden's alibi, if Joe Biden's claim, or whatever this Ian Sams guy's claim is, who's essentially speaking on behalf of Joe Biden because the guy's brain dead and can't even talk anymore, if his whole alibi is that Hunter Biden or the Biden family never received money from China, that's a big freaking leap, dude. Like, this guy is ballsy because he knows he has the media to do their dirty work. But if that's the truth, if that's the alibi they're going with, then someone's going to have to explain to me this Hunter Biden WhatsApp message. Because this right here, folks, is shocking. This is where Hunter Biden says, quote, "I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled." And he continues, "Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father." Someone's going to have to explain that. And what's even more crazy, if you think that's perfectly fine, then someone's going to have to explain to me why an elite IRS investigatory team tried to get the geo-tracking data to find out if indeed Joe Biden was sitting next to his son when this message was sent. And they were denied. They were obstructed. They were told no. Why? Because it's one gigantic cover-up operation for the Bidens so that Donald Trump doesn't win the election. This is all for the election, folks. All of this is election interference. And every single one of these people involved in this conspiracy needs to be charged and indicted for conspiracy to violate people's rights, their voting rights. The irony is so rich that they're charging these people down in Georgia with RICO charges, when in fact it should be this family and this corrupt cabal of people in Washington, D.C. who should be charged with RICO charges. It's just mind-blowing. Every single thing they accuse their opponents of doing, they themselves are guilty of. It is truly incredible. That is a strategy that I've been using since day one, for years, and it has never let me down. All the way back to Obama, all the way back to Hillary Clinton. Every single thing that these people accuse the other side of doing, they themselves are guilty of. And it has worked for me every single time. And so look, these impeachments are going to be starting tomorrow. And so expect the desperation to cover up for the Joe Bidens as far as in the media, because there's no way they're not going to be able to run away from this. It's an impeachment hearing, folks. Like, the entire world's going to be watching these impeachment hearings, and there's no way the media is going to be able to ignore it. There's no way. And so tomorrow, starting tomorrow, the entire world is going to see and hear about the Biden family's corruption and how corrupt these people are. Then everybody in the entire world can point their finger at the United States media, the United States government, for lying to the American people, covering up for the Joe Bidens just to get Joe Biden across the finish line in 2020. It is disgusting. And now all the American people have to sit and watch their country burn because these people didn't want Donald Trump as president. It is disgusting. It is dangerous. It is destructive. And I can't even tell you what would happen if these people were to do it again. I really can't, because they're certainly going to try and cheat. Everybody knows the Democrats are going to cheat in the 2024 election. Everybody knows that. And it's just sad that Donald Trump and Republicans have to outvote the cheating. They have to outvote the margin of cheating. They had to do it in 2020, and now they have to do it again in 2024. It is sad. This is the America Democrats want for you. This is what these people have done to our elections. This is what they've done to our country. And it's disgusting what they are doing to the former president, Donald Trump. Why? Because he wanted to run for president? Why? Because he called you out on your fake news? Why? Because he called you out for your corruption? Joe Biden is mobilizing the Department of Justice against his political opposition, against his chief rival in the 2024 election. But yet somehow Donald Trump is the fascist. These people are so brazenly corrupt. They just so brazenly lie to the American people. They just so brazenly project onto their opponents what they themselves are doing. It's truly incredible. So they accused Donald Trump of, this is exactly what Joe Biden said. He accused Donald Trump of bribing Ukraine to come up with dirt on Joe Biden. Dude, the guy was looking into the corruption you're being impeached for right now. And he had every single right to ask Ukraine about your corrupt business deals involving Ukraine, leveraging $1 billion. Is that not incredible? They impeached Donald Trump for supposedly a quid pro quo, when at the same exact time there was a video released of Joe Biden leveraging money, $1 billion, to to get a Ukrainian prosecutor fired that was investigating his son's corrupt business. Is that not incredible? So at the same time they're impeaching Donald Trump for quid pro quo, Joe Biden is caught in a quid pro quo. It's truly incredible. Leveraging $1 billion in taxpayer aid. Leveraging aid, the same exact thing they impeached Donald Trump for. It drives me nuts. The projection drives me nuts, man. It really does, if you couldn't tell. So, look, we're getting ready to find out starting tomorrow. The whole world's going to see the Biden family corruption. But I want Republicans to focus on other stuff. Get the evidence out there, do what you got to do, and then let's wrap this up and send it on its way. But Republicans need to really focus on fixing the problems in this country. I'm not saying, clean up after Joe Biden. I'm not saying that. Let this man pay for all the damage he's done to this country, and let the American people decide in 2024 if they want the destruction to continue on or do they want to stop it. Let the American people decide. But I don't suggest Republicans cleaning up any of the Biden administration's messes. None. Why? So they can take credit for it? So the Biden administration can come in and say, oh, look, we fixed the southern border. After the Republicans go through all these bills and an appropriations process to fix the border, and then the Biden administration takes credit for it? No. Nope. No. Let these people wallow in their own crap. Let the Biden administration pay for their own mistakes. That's what I say. And it's just, what's really sad is that there was a poll that came out, 59% of Democrats want an alternative to Joe Biden. 59%. And you know what they're doing? They're rigging the primaries against RFK Jr. So RFK Jr.'s polls are skyrocketing, but they're rigging the primaries against him. It's insane. I got some audio from RFK saying that exact same thing right here. Check this out.
It's pretty clear that the DNC does not want a primary. I don't want to say that they want a coronation, but that's, I think that's a fair way to put it, actually. They're doing, they're essentially, they're fixing the process so that it makes it almost impossible to have democracy function. They're effectively disenfranchising the Democratic voters from having any choice in who becomes president or who becomes the Democratic nominee. So two of the things they've done to date is they've moved the Iowa primary. They've made rules that if anybody campaigns in Iowa or any candidate sets foot in the state of Iowa or sets foot in the state of New Hampshire, then none of the votes that are cast for that candidate will be tallied. In other words, any delegate that I win in New Hampshire or Iowa would go instead to the president.
What?
And now they're trying to change it so that if I campaign in New Hampshire, that none of the votes cast for me in Georgia will count. And that's significant because it's hard to win the nomination without Georgia.
What is the logic?
Well, they're rigging it so that it, effectively, we're looking at the tabulations now that look like if you add up all the super delegates that they control and all of the automatic delegates that just go to the party and go to the president, I would have to win almost 80% of all of the states in order to beat President Biden, even if he only wins 20%.
And yet you continue on. So what is your strategy then in?
There you go. So these are the defenders of democracy, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, every single thing they accuse their opponents of doing, they themselves are guilty of. These people are rigging their primaries so that the guy that is clearly rising in the polls, that Democrats clearly want to see up on stage with Joe Biden, they are rigging the elections, the primary elections against him so that he can't win, so that only Joe Biden can win because they think Joe Biden's the only person that can beat Donald Trump. These people are stupid, they are brazen, and they are corrupt. They are completely unethical. They have no principles, no standards. Their standards are malleable. Okay, their standards are malleable. They can change them and shape-shift them however they want. But it is disgusting how this guy is trying to run as a Democrat, but he is being beaten down by the rules of the DNC, just like Bernie Sanders. They did the same thing to Bernie Sanders. When are Democrats, when are liberals, not the radical leftists, not the leftists, but when are liberals going to step up and say enough is enough? You want to know how you can stop this, libs? You want to know how you can stop it? Vote for Donald Trump. I'm serious. Vote for Donald Trump. Vote Republican, and you will watch the DNC crumble. Because the only reason why Democrats keep getting elected is because the liberals vote for Democrats, even though their values align more with Republicans and conservatives. It's really incredible. But because the media has brainwashed these liberals for so long, they think the Republicans are pure evil. And so instead of just voting for the party that aligns more with their values, they would rather vote against the evil that they think the Republican Party is. It's really wild. So I'm telling you, libs, if you're listening to this, if you want to stop what the DNC's doing and essentially rigging every single primary so that their preferred candidate gets across the finish line and not the candidate you want, you know, that pesky thing called democracy. If you want your democracy back, then you're going to have to stop voting for the Democrats. Stop accepting this. It is BS that this guy cannot get a primary without having to get 80% of all the votes. It's insanity. So you know what? I hope Democrats pay dearly for this. I hope Donald Trump wins in a landslide, and I hope Democrats never win another election again. I really do. I really do. And it can happen because Donald Trump's polls are increasing across all sectors. All sectors. Hispanics, blacks, women, the young people. He doesn't have the majority of young people. He doesn't have majority of any of them. He's got 50. Donald Trump now holds almost 50% of the Hispanic vote. The black vote has went up like 15%. This guy's poll numbers are increasing all across the board. And here's some audio of the media talking about the black voters for Joe Biden. Here, check this out.
This, as our new poll shows, the president's approval among black voters is down 17 points since the first year of his presidency. Mr. Biden is also down by double digits among Latinos, voters without a college degree, and independents. And as we mentioned, 59% of Democratic primary voters tell us they want to see a challenger to President Biden.
Yep. There you go. And that challenger is RFK Jr. And what do these people do? They're too busy rigging their primaries to keep RFK Jr., the person that Democrats really want, according to the polls, trying to keep him off the ballot. It's really incredible. And these are the defenders of democracy that we're always hearing about. These people are sick, man. They are sick. Donald Trump did more for the black community than Joe Biden and Barack Obama combined. That is a factual statement. That is provable on paper. And that brings me to my next point, is the corruption in Washington, D.C. is off the chain. And the weaponization of our Department of Justice is no different. So I got an article here from the Western Journal, and it's titled, Majority of Likely Voters Fear America is Becoming a Police State. Oh, yeah. So more than 70% of American voters worry that the United States is becoming a police state marked by government tyranny with, quote, mass surveillance, censorship, ideological indoctrination, and targeting of political opponents, a national poll suggests. A Rasmussen Reports national telephone and online survey found that 72% of likely voters are concerned that America is becoming a police state, including 46% who are very concerned. Nearly 1,000 likely voters were surveyed by Rasmussen and Pulse Opinion Research on September 14th and September 17th and September 18th. The poll had a survey sampling error of plus and minus 3% with a 95% confidence level. So think about it. From the moment Joe Biden stepped foot in that Oval Office, what has improved in this country? Nothing. Nothing has improved. And in fact, Joe Biden and the Democrats in power did the exact opposite. They destroyed everything. And we talk about this all the time. These people are purposely destroying this place. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but It would be shocking if this was on accident. There's no freaking way that they're doing this amount of damage on accident. There's no way. Absolutely no way. The Democrats should pay for this. This is exactly the type of thing that should cost Democrats the 2024 election, all across the board, in the Senate, in the House, in the executive branch, in the presidential. They should lose everything by a landslide for what they did to our primary process, to what they did to our elections, to what they did to our democracy, what they did to our republic, to our rule of law, to our government health institutions, everything. They destroyed every single freaking thing in just 2.5 years. It's wild, man. Wild. This just came out by John Solomon on Just the News, literally 10 minutes before I came on the show. His president's brother told the FBI the family tried to help Chinese firm buy U.S. energy assets. So President Joe Biden's brother told the FBI the first family, including Hunter Biden, tried unsuccessfully to help a Chinese company buy U.S. energy assets and did so believing the firm's leader was tied directly to Communist China President Xi Jinping, according to explosive new documents made public Wednesday by the House Ways and Means Committee on the eve of the first congressional impeachment inquiry hearing. James Biden told the FBI in an interview last year about efforts by him and Hunter Biden to help the CEFC energy firm in China buy a liquid natural gas facility on Monkey Island off the coast of Louisiana, and that he personally met with one of the company's chairmen, Yi Jianming, according to the FBI interview report released by the committee. So these people were literally selling out our country. Think about that. The Biden family was literally selling out an island off of Louisiana to China. Is this not shocking? I mean, it's truly shocking to me how we have an actual corrupt president selling out our country, literally selling out chunks of our country to China. Selling out an island to CEFC energy firm so that China could buy a liquid natural gas facility on Monkey Island off the coast of Louisiana. What the hell is going on here? And this is exactly why they don't want a special prosecutor investigating the Bidens, because they know the first day that any legit special prosecutor is going to find all this corruption on the very first day. Every single thing that this family has done in the last 20 years is corrupt. What has Joe Biden done for this country? Seriously. He got his idiot kid making money all over the world, paying for his dad's stuff, paying for his bills, who knows, probably writing checks, transferring money, flying around with his dad to make all these business deals, going to China, Ukraine, Romania, all these corrupt countries. You notice how all the money's not coming from Australia, it's not coming from the UK or Britain or Taiwan. No, it's all corrupt countries. It's all Ukraine, corrupt, China, corrupt, Romania, corrupt. And people and Democrats are perfectly okay with this. This is exactly why Democrats should lose the election in 2024, is stuff exactly like this. And if they don't cheat in the election, if they don't rig the election again, then they will lose. But oh, trust me, trust me, they are going to be, you are going to see some of the wildest stuff we've ever seen in elections happen in the 2024 election. These people are going to be counting ballots for a month, maybe even 2 months. You're going to be seeing, the pizza boxes and windows. That's going to be nothing. They're probably going to tape off whole buildings. They'll be counting ballots without ballot counters. That's going to be like a normal process. They'll probably have Republican ballot watchers arrested just so that the Democrats can count illegal ballots. I'm telling you. And then what's going to happen is it will remove the Republican ballot counters because they'll claim that the ballot counters were being violent or whatever. They're already trying to get the laws passed, folks. In some of these states, they're already trying to get laws passed to where if Republican ballot watchers question any of the ballots, they can just say that the ballot watchers are being aggressive and violent and then have them literally arrested and removed from the building. How do you think that's going to go? These people are already working on it, so I hope the Trump team is out there making sure that all this stuff is not getting through. I really hope so. I think they are. I really do. I think they are. And so All this stuff is going to roll up on Biden all at once. All of this. It is going to be the media and the corrupt cabal of people in Washington, D.C. are going to be screwed in about a year. In 1 year, this time next year, you're going to be seeing some of the craziest stuff coming out of the corrupt Washington, D.C. swamp. The media their heads are going to be exploding. Because all this stuff is going to come out on Joe Biden, there's not going to be anything they can do. And this is why I think they're going to have to put somebody else in. Look, I don't want them to. I think Joe Biden's the best thing that can ever happen to the Republicans. He really is. The guy can't talk. He can't walk. There's literally an operation. There is an operation right now. And I wish I can find the name of it. But there is an operation that the Biden administration is putting forth to keep Joe Biden from falling down. I mean, why would they do this type of damage to this country? Why? So Donald Trump doesn't give the American people cheap gas and affordable living? So he doesn't create peace around the world? Aha, that's what it is. That's what it is, folks. The military-industrial complex, this corrupt system that's been in our nation's capital for decades, they fear Donald Trump because they know Donald Trump is a peacemaker and not a warmonger, and that is bad for business. That's bad for everybody. War benefits all these people, and so that is why this country is constantly in wars and proxy wars. That's why. So Donald Trump is their worst nightmare. The only time that the media actually gave Donald Trump any credit for being a president is when he was doing drone strikes. That is it. It's wild. You can go back and listen to the audio. They would actually come out and be like, wow, this is the first presidential thing we've seen out of the Trump administration. And he was bombing people overseas in the Middle East with drone strikes. It's like, my God, man. The American people got to get their country back. They have to. They are absolutely destroying this place. And the southern border is no different. Here's an article from New York Daily News. Adams' administration to appeal order blocking New York City from sheltering migrants at shuttered Staten Island school. So they're keeping immigrants at schools now. Schools. So a Staten Island judge ordered Mayor Adams' administration Tuesday to stop housing migrants at a shuttered private school in the borough. But City Hall quickly staked out plans to appeal the ruling and affirmed it won't vacate the site in the meantime. The ruling from Staten Island Supreme Court Justice Wayne Ozzie came in response to a lawsuit filed last month by Borough President Vito Fossella and other Republican politicians. Their suit alleges that Adams' administration is violating zoning laws and other regulations by housing about 300 migrants, including children, at St. John's Villa Academy, a Catholic private school that has not been in use since 2018. Ozzie sided with the GOP and issued a 29-page preliminary injunction ordering the administration to immediately move the migrants out from St. John's. Ladies and gentlemen, New York City is dying. New York City is being absolutely destroyed by Joe Biden's disastrous immigration policies. Disastrous. All this is self-inflicted by the Biden administration. This is why I don't want Republicans cleaning up after him. I want Republicans focusing on other things. I know it's probably the best thing, but no matter what Republicans do, it's not going to do anything. The only way this border gets fixed is if Joe Biden is not in office. If these Democrats are not in office, that is it. This is because they want open borders, folks. They want all this illegal immigration. And so no matter what they do, look, you had Abbott in Texas put a barrier in the Rio Grande River to help secure the border, to keep people from coming across the river. And the Biden administration sued him to take the barrier down. So it is clear and obvious that these people want illegal immigration. They want this. They want millions of illegal immigrants here spread out all through the country. So I don't know what Republicans think they're going to do to fix it. They're not going to be able to do anything. So why even waste the political capital trying to clean up after the Biden administration? Instead, what they should be focusing on is this Soviet-like DOJ that's going around and turning the justice system into a weapon to target political opponents. That's what I think the Republicans should focus on. You get rid of the corruption in our system, and you will see that the system will actually work. You're not going to have a system that is functioning properly if you have corruption in it. It's just not going to work, man. It's not possible. And so Republicans need to focus on just cleaning up the corruption from our system, man. This corrupt system that has had control over this country for the last 5 decades. This corrupt fourth branch of government that they created for themselves. You know, this club, this elite club of the ruling class, and nobody's invited. Get rid of that, and you will see that our systems actually work. I actually had somebody leave me a comment on Twitter or TikTok or one of my platforms talking about they said something about, they responded to one of my videos talking about the illegal immigrants. And then this person had the gall to sit there and say, well, why don't the Republicans just create a process to get the immigrants here legally? It's like, wait a minute. I was like, these people are so moronic. I don't know where they get their media from. I don't think they do. I really don't. I think they probably watch the news one time a week, and that news is probably MSNBC. And so this is why these people are so deranged about Donald Trump. This is why everything they believed the last 8 years is a freaking lie. Some of these people still believe in Russia collusion. Some of these people still believe the lies that the media told them about the Trump administration. To this day. And so Mayor Adams, New York is dying because of the immigration crisis that the Biden administration caused. And then you have Governor Hochul talking about, what was it, a couple years ago, she was talking about, oh, give us all the immigrants that you have. We'll take all of them. And now she's out there saying, no, we can't take any more. If you want to come into this country illegally, you better go somewhere else. These people are such frauds, man. And I think Florida, Texas, Arizona should continue to bus these, as many as they can, to New York, to Washington, D.C., flood these Democrat cities, flood these sanctuary cities with as many immigrants as they can fit. And just keep sending them. They should be having every single one of these illegal immigrants, these asylum seekers, illegal asylum seekers, should be going right to all these sanctuary cities. And they are. That is why you're seeing it. There's no way they can bus all these people. It's not possible. You're talking about millions of people. These people are going to these sanctuary cities on their own volition. They're going to these cities by their own choice. It's their choice to go to these sanctuary cities because they know they're going to be taken care of, because these sanctuary cities have been saying it for years. Come here, we'll take care of you. And so now all of a sudden that they actually have to take care of them. It is so, this is, like I said, it's exactly why Democrats need to lose in 2024. And it's going to be up to us to make sure that happens. Because, look, if Republicans don't win, if Democrats win in 2024, the beatings will continue. There is no doubt about it. The beatings will continue. And so, speaking of the corruption, I had some audio of Matt Gaetz today on the floor, man. Absolutely went savage on this Democrat Menendez and essentially on the Democrat Party as a whole, and talking about how bad the inflation is in this country. The credit goes out to this Kevin McMahon on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, because, man, he nailed this one. He put the Seinfeld theme song behind Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz just goes straight savage on Senator Menendez with this little audio clip, and this guy cut it up and put it out there, and it is glorious. It was so good. It had me rolling for like 20 minutes. It was so good. I cut it up, and I posted it on my TikTok page, so it went out to all my followers on TikTok, and man, it's just amazing. It is so truthful that it just gets better and better every time you listen to it. So here we go.
We are devaluing American money so rapidly that in America today, you can't even bribe Democrat senators with cash alone. You need to bring gold bars to get the job done, just so that the bribes hold value.
Man. And Matt Gaetz is not laughing when he does it. He's telling the truth. It is 100% truth, because if you think about it, gold is the only thing that retains its value. So think about if you were somebody getting a bribe from a Democrat, or think about if you were a Democrat getting a bribe from somebody. And they wanted to give you cash. The inflation is so bad right now that you would probably demand gold because you know that in 5 years, whenever you have to actually go through with the bribe, your gold's actually going to retain more value than the cash they gave you at the time. This is what made this audio clip so funny, because it's so true. And I posted it on Twitter, I posted it on X, and I said, if you can't cry, then you have to laugh about the damage that this administration and the Democrat Party has caused this country in the last 2.5 years. It's stuff like this, man, that it lightens everybody's day up. It brightens. You got to laugh at it. It is so bad you have to laugh. And so hats off to Kevin McAhoon, whoever you are, dude. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I hope I am. But good job, dude. Keep it up. It's stuff like this that people need to see. This is actually pretty effective because it's so truthful, but it's so serious at the same time. You know what I mean? So, it really gets people to think, oh my God, there is a Democrat that just took a bribe. And oh my God, it was in gold bars. And oh my God, he probably did get it in gold because inflation is so bad. So, it's just one of those things, man. So I wanted to let my listeners hear it because I think it's on point, just straight on point. That was, when I seen that, I knew I had to play for you guys. I thought it was hilarious. That Menendez guy, look, I believe in due process. I believe in innocence until proven guilty. So look, the guy's going to have his day in court. And you know what? He'll probably get away with it just like all the other Democrats and these corrupt people in Washington get away with it. The only person that can't even get away with jaywalking is Donald Trump. If Donald Trump, I'm serious about this, if Donald Trump got caught jaywalking in New York City, they would try to throw him in prison for the rest of his life. I'm serious. These people are sick. They are obsessed with targeting Donald Trump, and I think it's definitely a mental illness on their part, but the corrupt cabal supports it because they don't believe he should be able to run for president. But these people are supposed to be some defenders of democracy. When they're rigging their primaries so RFK Jr. can't run, they're persecuting their political opponents, Donald Trump, so he can't run. It's like these people don't believe in democracy, man. For real? This is what these people call democracy? This is the democracy Democrats want for you? This is the democracy Democrats want for this country? Oh yeah, we're big, defenders of democracy, but we're going to persecute our political opponents so they can't run, and we're going to kneecap and we're going to rig the primaries so no Democrat can challenge our King Biden. And then they'll point the finger at the other side, man. It is so truly incredible. All right, so there's one more thing I wanted to get into here before we head out. There was it's this right here. So this was weird. This came out on the 19th, and I can't believe nobody mentioned this. But I got an article here from Town Hall. Hat tip to Katie Pavlik. The members of a new DHS intelligence group should set off alarm bells. I can't believe nobody touched on this. I don't know what happened on the 19th, but it must have been something big for nobody to talk about this. So Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas announced a new Homeland Security Intelligence Group Tuesday, and it's 17 members. And it says, quote, experts group to provide advice and perspectives on intelligence and national security efforts to the Office of Intelligence and Analysis and the Office of Counterterrorism Coordinator to support DHS. Vital work to protect our country, DHS released in a statement. Mayorkas claims the experts group will work to address, quote, complex problems and threats facing the country. The security of the American people depends on our capacity to collect, generate, and disseminate actionable intelligence to our federal, state, local, territorial, tribal, campus, and private sector partners, Mayorkas released in a statement. Given the weaponization of the government by the Biden administration against domestic political opponents, the language being used and the scope of the group's work is highly alarming. Oh, yeah. Quote, the Homeland Intelligence Group is being formed at a time of unprecedented challenge, with the U.S. intelligence enterprise facing threats from a range of malign actors to include foreign nation state adversaries, domestic violent extremists, cyber criminals, drug trafficking cartels, and other transnational criminal organizations. Under Secretary for Intelligence and Analysis Ken Weinstein added, quote, the experts group will be an invaluable asset as we navigate through this evolving threat and operating environment and continue to strengthen our efforts to protect the homeland. My, this is going to be bad. So get this. You ready for this? So two of the members are former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, and former CIA Director, John Brennan. God, man. You know what? If it was... It's just so shocking. It's like, if you can't cry, you might as well just laugh at it. It is so corrupt that it's funny. It really is. The obvious corruption and nepotism in this government is just, it's hilarious. It's really hilarious how these people think that they're getting by any of this, that they think they can do this and get away with it. Well, because they can. That's why. So Clapper and Brennan were both key individuals who pushed the false Russia narrative during the Trump administration, claiming the 2016 election was stolen and claimed Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. Just weeks before the 2020 presidential election, Clapper lied under oath during congressional testimony about the federal government spying on American citizens, and Brennan called Trump a traitor, implying he should be put to death. He has the same disdain for Americans who support Trump and other Republicans. Clapper and Brennan are far-left radicals who believe the federal government should be used to silence dissent. In 2018, President Trump stripped Brennan of his security clearance. DHS boasts about other members of the group, which include journalists, prominent human rights, civil liberties advocates, and former intelligence officials. Will provide a wide range of views and perspectives. DHS currently has 260,000 employees, raising further questions about why an outside working group is necessary. They're going to do it again. You know what this is? These are the same people that rigged our 2020 election. These are the same people that lied about the laptop. They lied about Donald Trump and the Russia collusion. They lied to the American people to get Joe Biden across the finish line. They're liars. These people, these corrupt people, James Clapper and John Brennan, should be thrown out on the streets, more or less back in our government, taking a paycheck from the American taxpayer. It is disgusting. I say it all the time. It is truly, truly shocking, the level of brazenness from these people, the level of brazen corruption from these people. And what else is shocking is the disdain that they have for 80 million plus Americans that voted for Donald Trump. The pure disdain. You guys remember Peter Strzok saying the smelly Walmart people. This is how these people think about their fellow Americans that vote for anything other than the status quo, than what the Democrats want. They hate them. They want to see them in prison. And by all means, the DOJ is making quick work of that. How many people they got already? 1,300? Plus the people in Michigan, the electors up plus the electors up in Michigan, plus the people down in Georgia, all the pro-life activists. I mean, they got like 2,000 people locked up serving prison now. All this in 2.5 years. And you want to sit there and tell me that the DOJ isn't a corrupt Department of Justice that looks more like the KGB than the Department of Justice? We have a Sovietized justice system that is on the country's largest manhunt in DOJ history, locking up political opposition and running cover for Joe Biden, the dictator, the fascist dictator. It's truly, truly bizarre how we're watching the rise of totalitarianism and police state tactics in the United States. Really wild. So look, on top of all of this, on all the corruption, all the stuff, all this is being used for the 2024 election. People say, oh yeah, the election's a year and a half out. No. Folks, they have been working on keeping Donald Trump out of office since 2016. It has not stopped. The same group of people, the same operations, they have like a team of people inside the bureaucracy of our government that is responsible for nothing but figuring out how to keep Donald Trump out of office. It's the same damn people. Lisa Monaco, Merrick Garland, Clapper, Brennan, Strzok, all these people, Comey, Mueller, all these people all worked together to try and kneecap Donald Trump to keep him out of office. This is why the entire time Donald Trump was in office, he kept getting stabbed in the back by all these people in the bureaucracy. And I can't stand the people that sit there and say there's no such thing as a deep state. You are watching the deep state right now. This is the deep state. All these people. And I just seen that Cassidy Hutchinson came out with a book. How is anybody buying this woman's book? She is a proven liar. This is the same chick that came out. She's an aide for Mark Meadows, or former aide, who now is trying to sell a book, so she stabbed Donald Trump in the back. This is like the 15th person who stabbed Donald Trump in the back and used it to make money off of it in a book. She's just one down the line. Why people continue to buy these people's books is beyond me. It is pure and obvious that these people are grifting, trying to make money off the American people, and they do it with nothing but lies. This woman was caught lying in front of the January 6th committee, but because that was a sham Stalinist committee and nobody even challenged any of her questions or cross-examined her, she got away with the lies. This is the same person that said Donald Trump, that she heard from somebody that Donald Trump tried to grab the wheel in the presidential limo on January 6th, essentially choking out a Secret Service officer that was driving. This is what this woman said. I'm not exactly that, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what she said in front on national TV under oath in front of the January 6th committee. A proven liar. She is like the Washington, D.C.'s, she's probably a hoe bag for one, but she's probably Washington, and I actually have proof to put that forward, but I don't want to get sued. She's like Washington, D.C.'s drama queen. That's what she is. So look, anybody that's even thinking, and I wasn't even gonna talk about it, but I figure I think it's necessary. I don't want anybody giving this girl any attention. I know that I did it, and this is going to be the last time we mention her name. These people that do this do not deserve to get paid any money. These people should be thrown out onto the streets for what they've done to this country, man. They contribute nothing to this country. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then they sit and have the balls to stab Donald Trump in the back, one of the greatest presidents this country has seen in decades, who gave the American people the best economy and the best quality of life that these people have seen in decades, and stabbed him in the back. And she's a former Republican. I don't know what she is now. She's a leftist. These people switch parties. They do this so that they can get money off books. This is what they do. And it's just unfortunate. It's Donald Trump that's got to pay the price for all this stuff. People like E. Jean Carroll, all these corrupt DAs. Like, do Democrats not ever ask the question why it's only Democrat states and DAs and prosecutors that are bringing all these charges against Donald Trump? Like, did they not think about that? It's probably the same reason why they don't ask about the WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden shaking down a Chinese oligarch for millions of dollars. Oh, but they're going to find out tomorrow. First day impeachment hearing tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so tune in, and we're certainly going to be keeping up with it. I just hope they do a good job, man. That's all. I just hope they do a good job. You know, I want them to send out the good message, get the evidence together. I hope they send a good message to the American people so that the American people can see and understand. I think the whole world already knows, based off the evidence that they've seen so far, that Joe Biden is corrupt, and there's really no way out of this. The only way they're going to be able to get Joe Biden across the finish line is by doing nothing but lying. But unfortunately, they already played that card back in 2020, so no one else is going to buy it again. Hopefully not. We'll see. It's just unfortunate that Republicans have to vote. They have to vote past the margin of cheating. That's just super unfortunate. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for tuning in. Next show, we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff. Most certainly, we're going to be talking about the impeachment hearing that's going to be happening today. Actually, it's going to be happening. So, because I'm actually recording the show at nighttime, so by the time you listen to it, you know, it's going to be Thursday. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you share the show with your friends and family. And I'm putting together I'm doing some more research now to go ahead and put together another show. Maybe I'll record it tonight. Maybe I won't. We'll see what kind of time I'm working with. But either way, just make sure you guys pay attention to the impeachment hearings. Make sure you pay attention to all this stuff because, look, it's going to, oh, wow, look at this. So the House of Representatives actually used the Holman rule and cut Lloyd Austin's pay down to $1. That's exactly what they need to do. This is exactly the type of stuff they need to do. They need to use the Holman rule, and any of these people like Lloyd Austin, people like Jack Smith, take their pay away. It's not right that the American people have to sit and pay for their country's own destruction. It's not right. It's just not right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and please, if you could, follow the show on Rumble. I'm trying to get more viewers on Rumble. I've been uploading the content manually every day since their auto sync is down for the moment. I'm trying to put all my videos on Rumble every single day, so try to follow the show on Rumble. Also, you can follow the show on YouTube as well. The show's up there. It goes to YouTube every single day, and also on all the other social media platforms. Follow the show so that we can build this army of followers. You guys heard on the last show how I put out the phone numbers for the Senate and Matt Gaetz so that you guys can call them and tell them how you feel and tell them what we want. Essentially, being proactive in this battle for freedom. And that's exactly what I want to do. But I want the audience, I want us to build a massive army of people to where we can actually make a difference. That's what I want this podcast for. I wanted to inform the American people so that we have an army of informed people that can actually take action and change the direction this country is going in. And the only way to do that is by if you guys share the show. I don't have any advertisers. I don't promote for anybody. I don't have any sponsors. You guys sharing the show and following the show and sharing it with your friends and family is the only way that I get promotion, is word of mouth. That is it. So I would appreciate it if you guys did it. You guys are doing great so far. Keep up the good work. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you guys got any questions or you want to reach out to me, get a hold of me, StephenTorielloShow@gmail.com, and ask me anything you want. I will get back with you. If you want to send an article, send it over. I'll read it. I'll check into it. And yeah, so I want you guys to have a good day. Have a great week. God bless you. And God bless America. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.